Hey guys, back with another video, and today we're going to discuss what I believe to be the 3 best loot routes in DayZ. Each loot route serves a different purpose and I always mix it up depending on what I'm trying to achieve. I'll be going over the best loot route for high tier weapons, the best loot route to find PvP, and the best loot route to get to Northwest Airfield quickly. As always, if you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. Without further ado, let's get into our first loot route. With my loot routes, you don't need a certain spawn point, just spawn in the general area where you can slowly make your way onto the direct route. Our first example is the Northern Highway, perfect for getting high tier loot and can be accessed from Berezino, Riffy or Savetlo. The first thing we want to do is get onto the highway. It runs through so many towns we can simply loot supplies as and when we need them. If you spawn Berezino, find the main road which runs parallel to the coast and run with the coast on your right. The same can be said if you spawn Riffy. This will eventually bring us to Savetlo. If you are more confident at navigating, you can always cut across all the way to Serograd through either Krasnodar or Dubrovka. For those who aren't, we'll just stick to the main road. Looting the towns as we reach them. We want to follow the road through Savet, past the checkpoint and then through Novo, finally going through Serogino, until we reach Serograd Quarry. We will head north of this via the road to the summer camp. We can see the road from the apartment. After looting the summer camp, we want to continue following this road, taking a left here. After following the road for a while, you should notice a right turn. This will lead us into Kamenk's military base, a great place to get high tier weapons. After looting this, it's best to head where we came in from and continue to follow the road, taking a right at the towns after the mines and then taking a left into town. It's probably recommended to pick this town clean for food and supplies. Then follow the single concrete road out of town until we reach the Green Moustache, where we would want to take a right. Follow the track over the bridge and continue down. We will eventually meet a concrete road at this tavern. We will continue to follow this and take a right at the next road. Sticking to this road until we reach a red barn. We will then take a left from here where we will reach another summer camp. From this summer camp, we want to go to the back of this medical and head down the hill. Taking a left at this main road, and then a right up at this dirt track. Stick to this road and do not take any turns until we reach a concrete road, where you'll take a right. Following this road will take us directly to Tissi, the best spot for loot in the game. The next route is the best route for PvP. This loot route is good for PvP simply because it's one of the most common routes and joins up with an equally popular loot route. To start this route we want to spawn in Electro, however it can also work with Kamishovo and I'll discuss that later. You'll want to loot Electro for some very basic supplies. I always recommend using Upper Electro as the rest will always be picked dry. We then want to head north, so wherever you happen to be, head towards the church or the apartments. You'll then be able to see these smokestacks, but we're more interested in the road that runs behind them. You'll want to follow this road. You can even loot these houses. Sticking to the main road, we should come across a summer camp. This is always worth a loot. Following the road off a little longer, we'll come across a checkpoint. People do like the camp here, so just be careful, but we will need to go through it as we want both the military loot and to take the right turn. You'll then follow this long road around to Star Roy. If you're more experienced with navigating, you can always cut across the hill to greatly reduce the runtime. As previously mentioned, you can also get here if you spawn Kamishovo. What we want to do is to loot Kami for some food and then head up this dirt track. Keep following the track until it ends, where we will continue to follow the clearing of trees in the forest. Follow this correctly and we should reach a dirt road. You'll want to take a left here, which will take us to this map. If you want some hunting loot, there is a castle up to the left. If not, we'll continue to head right into Mister. If you're in need of drink or some food, give it a quick loot. If not, want to head left at the big tree next to the blue container. Follow this road until we reach the tavern. You can take either of these roads, they both lead to the same spot. You'll then notice that we have reached Star Roy, and rather quickly. There's a high chance you'll run into PvP here, especially up at the military base, which we can easily find by running towards this red barn. Once you're done with Star Roy, you'll want to leave town. You'll know if you're following the right road as power lines run parallel to it. When you get to the first turn, you sort of have a choice. There's a town down there which is often unlooted but always quiet. If you're fine on loot, I recommend skipping over this town and heading straight. Keep following this road and making sure you pass this barn. This road is quite long but you should eventually come across a Glovo. There's a well located at this large tree. Always check this for players. You'll then want to continue down the road where we will reach Novi. However, just before heading into town, follow the tree line down to the left. You should catch a glimpse of Novi summer camp. Always loot this as it's a great place to get guns and a very common spot for other players. Then head into Novi, which has always been a great spot for PvP as this is where the main road from Gorka and Electro meet. If you're having no luck here, then head to Starry. You should be able to see the Starry red barn from Novi. Be careful as there's a military base right next to the tin barn and people love to camp the hills. On a popular server, you should almost certainly come across PvP here, so be on alert. If you're still struggling to find PvP, you can continue down the road to Cabinino, in which you can either go to VMC or Northwest Airfield, two extremely popular PvP spots. Talking about Northwest Airfield, the quickest way to get to Northwest is to get a Barazino or Niznoi spawn. We first want to make our way up to Upper Barazino. This should be easy enough to spot as it's situated on a hill with a bright yellow crane. If you spawned in Niznoi, it'll be to your northwest, and if you spawned in Lower Barazino, it'll be to your south. Remember, if you're struggling to locate the compass direction, just look towards the sea. This is east. Obviously, this trick only works on the eastern coast. So, depending on how far you spawn from Upper Barazino, you may want to loot for a little bit of food, but remember, this loot route is meant to be fast, so you'll want to run straight up to Upper Barazino if you can. Once in Upper Barazino, there's a couple opportunities for military and police loot. It's worth grabbing these, especially if you just died at the airfield. Something to defend yourself might be needed as there's a potential for wolf spawns on this route, although very rare. Once in Upper Barazino, head towards the crane. Then directly head north. This will take you to the well, which you should fill up on. Don't just drink until you're white, but continue to drink for another minute. Do stop once your stomach becomes full though. While here, this is a perfect opportunity to grab food. I often find these houses around the well are unlooted. If they happen to be empty, at least make sure to check every greenhouse. These spawn abnormal amounts of food. Once you have a little bit of food, we will then want to leave town. We will take this road, which we can easily locate as it has a metal tin barn situated on it. We'll follow this road up to Gorka checkpoint, where we may be able to get a little bit more military loot. Depending on your supplies, we can either follow this road around the bend and then take a right before the gas station to reach Gorka, although this location is quite popular for other players. If you still have food and don't fancy the need to loot Gorka, you can run off this road and into the forest. In order not to get lost, I recommend lining your player up with this marking, jumping over the fence and running straight. If you do this correctly, you run straight onto the road that leads to Grashino. However, if you sense you're getting lost, head up to Altar Radio Tower. If you choose to loot Gorka, you should also do the same. Once at the tower, you want to head to the northern gate. This is the one next to the actual radio station. You want to follow the concrete road until you come across this dirt track. Take this and follow it until you find a trailer, in which you'll take a right, then follow this and then take the next left. You can follow this track all the way to Grashino. You will know you're going the right way when you come across this caravan. Depending on the weather and the view distance, you may already be able to see northwest. If not, simply come into town and take the left at the main road. Remember, there's a well at the Double Brown if you need it. Keep following this road until you come across a right turn just before the gas station. This is the final stretch, and following this road will take us to the gates of Northwest Airfield. So that about wraps up today's video. Hopefully you found it at least somewhat useful. This has been Rav, have a good one.